went down there and show.
Oh, nice.
And
They're not,
Right.
they're just, yeah, they're just,
got it.
they're just all like.
That's the way to. Okey dokey, is the recording on and everything? 'Cause I think
It's.
yeah,
Start of the show.
it's time whenever. Tell me when. Half hour. Open this up. Why? We locked you out.
See how hard you tap that keyboard.
Ready?
Pressure's on them.
Who's muted?
That's a bit of a question. That's what something I was understanding. I did the last night too. What is it? I did last night. Some people. I'm sure. Who's looking? Oh, that's why I didn't. Still be in that, so that'll.
No, still. Richard.
And this is telling me, no, I realized it was.
We ready?
Yeah.
Recording on?
Yes.
Sorry about that delay. We'll go ahead and start this Board of Supervisors meeting. And I'll call it to order and you know, it's finally beginning to cool off a little bit in the morning. And we hope it continues to do so. But welcome. And I ask Supervisor Ron Campbell to lead us in the pledge.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Campbell. And with that, we'll go to agenda item 1B, call to the public. Is there anyone that'd like to address the? Steve, please state your name and.
Thank you. My name is Steve Amon, and good morning supervisors, county manager, department chairs, supervisors, and the rest of us. It's an honor to be here. I'm filling in for my lovely wife because she had a previous appointment. But as you know, Colors of Copper, 11th annual is happening. And there are a couple of changes. Can I?
Said,
Changes. 11th annual.
thank
Still
you.
at the train, or at the train station this year.
Thank you.
It's muertos.
It's not going to be Saturday and Sunday. First time ever. Saturday, Sunday, because of the election, we've got to clean the train station out so they can have everything ready Monday morning to get in there. So that's why we're Friday and Saturday. So, and I need to thank all of you for your part in enabling this to have continued for 11 years. As you know, you guys have provide the fencing so that we can actually have the liquor this year. The wine, it's not exactly liquor. Anyway, the Sonoyta Winery, the first winery sanctioned in the state of Arizona, is back with us again. And then we have a new one called Twisted Union. And I personally went and tasted all the ones I could find, and I recommend them. They're both very good. So just for the record, I'm the local wino in case you. I'm happy to answer any questions. We'll be going from noon to 8 o'clock both days. And it's also because it's falling on the Day of the Dead, but I'm not even going to try to pronounce that properly because I would just show.
Dia de los Muertos.
Thank you. See, Kansas farm boys just can't quite get there. What can I say? I work on it, but oh my.
Duncan Farm Boys.
Maybe they can. Maybe they can. Kansas didn't get yeah, it just didn't happen there. What else I don't want to waste any more of your valuable time. I'm probably already out of time. Thank you so much for letting me. Thank you for all you've done to support this. Come out on November 1st and 2nd. Enjoy the art, the wine, the food, the music. It'll all be there. Thank you so much.
Public. Yes.
The BYU jacket?
Gentlemen, my name is Daniel Cervantes, Town of Clifton resident, Greeley County resident. Chairman Richards, may I approach?
Yes, please.
Thank you very much.
One for. Okay. Gentlemen, last week on Thursday, October 10th, 2024 at 2 p.m., I was able to attend the Town of Clifton Town Council meeting, regular meeting. Under agenda item H, new business, two ladies from the grant with a specific intention of being able to present to the Town of Clifton Police Department a check in the amount of $250,000 so that the agency would be able to enhance or improve their 911 radio communications with other agencies, most especially the Greeley County's own budget under the supervision of Greeley County Sheriff Tim Sumner, who can or reject Clifton Police Department's newly radio communications, but I don't think that's likely to happen. But anyway, I just wanted to share with you that everything's going good, especially for the emergency schools. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.
Anyone else in call to the public? Okay, we'll go to agenda item 2, the Board of Supervisors will convene as the Board of Directors, Greene County Public Health Service District, and after order of business will reconvene as the Board of Supervisors. A, consent agenda.
I so move that we approve the consent agenda as posted. I'll second that.
We'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We are now convened as the Board of Supervisors, and the Board of Supervisors will convene as the Board of Business will reconvene as the Board of Supervisors. A, consent agenda.
So move that we approve the consent agenda as posted. I'll second that.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. We are now convened as the Board of Supervisors, and we'll go to agenda item 4. Mr. Reed Larson, County Engineer. Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Reed.
Before I jump into this, I wanted to show you guys something. Looking down at my boots and I'm a little embarrassed about how dirty and dusty they are. And I just want you to know your county administrator, he's working me like a rented mule. And I'm wondering if maybe I could get a boot allowance or something so that when I come to these board meetings, I can wear a shiny new pair of boots instead of my old boots, which were new at one time.
Reed, this old farm boy has no condolences for you.
No, well, it's worth a shot. The agenda item you have before about a month ago, you approved going out to bid for that detention basin based on good reasons, including our public works workload. That precipitated a need for our consultant Dibble Engineering to modify and expand their scope. And so this agenda item is to seek approval for them to modify their task and increase the amount of it so that they can provide additional services that are necessary, because we are using a contractor rather than doing the work in-house. And I would point out to you that ADOT has reviewed Dibble's task order modifications, their proposal, and has approved it.
Just for clarification, so this change order is in the amount of 44,984. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do have budget for it in that project budget.
Any questions?
No.
Well, with what's been said, I so move that we approve the modification for task order number 1 with Dibble for additional post design services provided by the airport consultant for the airport drainage project at the amount of $44,984 as presented.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And we hope those boots get dirtier.
I got some shine there.
Get no sympathy. Okay, we'll go to agenda item 5. Austin Adams.
Okay, so agenda item 5 is Securitas. That is all the locking systems we use. That's all the badge readers that open locks. Pretty much what we have is the gentleman, Matt from Securitas, has sent us a 3-year renewal. If we want to do the 3-year renewal, it drops our overall monthly payment by about $400. And it also upgrades all of our current locks, including some upgrades to probation. And so my recommendation is that we approve that. It is going to save us some money, and it gets the doors for probation that they were looking for. So I think it's a good move. They've done well. This also does include a service agreement. So if we have any issues with the locks, all those service calls, they're out here. This is gel locks. Everything gets updated. So.
Go ahead.
How long is Securitas? How long have they been servicing us?
Over 10 years. I'm not sure exactly how long, but it's been over a decade. I think they've been with us.
They started in the jail when we moved to some of those systems. And then as we upgraded our locking and monitoring devices around, we went with them as it's grown.
As far as I know, on our side, I talked to Tony and I said, you know, how often are we calling them? He said, we've had a little bit of trouble with the South Annex. That's what kind of brought about this. Some of those locks was acting funny. But overall, we're probably calling them maybe once a year because the system works well.
Where do they come out of, Austin?
I think they're out of Tucson, if I'm not mistaken.
They respond pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah, I don't think we've had any issues that I'm aware of. When I talked to Tony, he acted like they usually don't have to call them up. They can usually log in and get stuff fixed, which is nice.
They've had one issue there for quite a few years on the north side of the annex building. That thing, for whatever reason,
That lock doesn't want to work.
doesn't want to work and it beeps and they do. And
So I'm on this contract, as far as I'm aware on it. I mean, that stuff would be covered. If we have those issues, they would come out and get them fixed or replace it. So it should, again, I think as long as we know about the problem, I can let Matt know and they'll take care of it. From what I've heard, they've been pretty good about if we call them, they show up. So I know around elections and stuff, those locks, they do well. As far as I know, I haven't heard anything. That's the first I've heard about that, but I knew there was a buggy door. Maybe that's the door they're talking about.
that's the door.
Okay.
It's good because I always ask if you turned it in the health department. It's
Okay.
right. It's the
So
one.
that's the one he mentioned. There was a buggy
Right.
door that's gonna get replaced, so.
And I'm sure, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And is the amount for 57,582.90, is that the amount? And is that
I think that's an annual amount on there. That's for all the locks in the county. It is about $5,000, $4,800 cheaper than what we're currently paying.
and so what number are we
Let's see.
to approve, or we need that number?
Just a second.
Because I know there's a lot of pages here. And
It's 50,
Monthly cost of $13.99.
yeah, and so those are set up per building, right? So every building has its own.
See, that's what I was,
So right now, our current annual cost is $53.50. That's what the new cost would be
53.50.
Annually.
annually, 92 cents.
5,320.
Contract, what's that?
5,300.
No, 53,000. So this is
Oh,
all
53,000.
annually. My apologies. 53,050 and 92 cents annually is what it is. That is,
By three?
yep, let's do it quick. So let's see our total contract.
Oh,
159, 125. Yeah, 159 to 152.76 is what the whole contract would be for 3 years. That is all of the lock upgrades, all of the service for 3 years. 159, 152, 76 cents.
You say it one more time.
$159,152.76.
Okay. All right, I got it now.
do it, Ron.
All right, well, hey, I moved that we approved Securitas Technology 3-year purchase agreement to update the county door locks and camera systems in the amount of $53,592 per year for a 3-year agreement for a total of $159,152.76 as presented.
I second that motion. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Thank you for the clarifications. If not, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate that. We now go to agenda item 6, Mr. Rapier.
Thank you. Obviously, we know that we're now in the voting stage right now, and there is much talk and scuttlebutt about who's going to win the Senate, who's going to win the House, and how that's going to split. And everybody's got a prognostication, and although nobody's putting bets down anywhere because it's that uncertain. For us, the relevant information at the moment is that, the state's most recent projections based on revenues received by the state through the first quarter are that there will be a $425 million surplus, in the annual budget for FY 25. No one's banking on that extra money to do anything with. In fact, there were articles yesterday about how some of the governor's priorities are going to have to be put on hold for the next 2 years, the last years of her current term, because there isn't money to pay for some of the things she would like to do. That 425 million does anticipate unanticipated growth. There's some of the programs that they budgeted for have grown more than they anticipated, such as developmentally disabled children. There's some money they give to parents who also act as caregivers, so subsidize that. There's also some recalculation of state aid based on a property tax ruling that came down that hit schools really hard, and so they're trying to manage that. And then there's higher state aid for schools. That's a formulaic thing. So all those are up, but even with those increases, the state still stands to be ahead by 425 million if revenues continue at the current rate. One thing that is more speculative and that the people are worried about is that the projections for empowerment scholarships for next year, they expect to rise to $90 million to account for roughly 90,000 students that they anticipate may enroll in that program. As you know, that's been a program that is a sacred cow for the Republicans and much controversy with the Democrats. So the outcome of the election may have significant effect on how that program looks going forward. On a more local note, I'll share here our current projections. Austin, could you get the lights there? This is good. That looks better. This is our revenues through the first quarter. We've now received our September numbers. You'll see that the average over in that orange box on the right is 459,000. We are currently ahead of projections on our own budget, not by a lot, but by some. Let me switch over to our county sales tax revenue. This is tracking pretty close to where we expected it to be. You'll see our average is 120,000 a month, which we budgeted on 120,000 a month. At the current rate, if our revenues continue at this rate, we would expect to see a $5,000 surplus over projected revenues in our county half-cent sales tax. Most economists are predicting that the current rates will hold or increase at the state level. We would anticipate the same as well. Sorry, my seat is short, so I'm looking over Bianca's monitor there. But if things continue, obviously there's an election, there's a war in the Middle East. You know, there are the hurricanes that just hit. All of those have their impacts on an overall economy. And so, as we are very well aware, we watch the world economy more than our local economy at the state level. And so we will continue to monitor this month by month. As we go back over to this chart, I've set up here at the projected growth of state shared sales tax combined with our county half-cent sales tax, we would expect to see about a $421,000 surplus in over projected revenues at the end of the year. That's not a lot, but it certainly helps. It's better to be 421 in the blue rather than 421 in the red. And so both of our state and state shared sales tax revenues are up through the first quarter over projections. I appreciate the board's conservative approach to revenue projecting because it's much easier to live within a shorter budget than it is to over project and then spend accordingly, and then you have to start cutting later in the year. But that's where we're at. That's where we stand at the moment, and that's what I have on our budget and legislative affairs issues right now. Certainly would stand for any questions.
What was the average for when we budgeted? Did we
budgeted 5.1 million. So our average, oops,
425, that's what I, yeah.
yeah, so we're coming in at about, 40,000 more than that. 35,000 more than that a month at the current rate.
Yeah, anyway, that's always good news.
Absolutely.
Good news.
It's always helpful.
Thank you.
Smart finance.
Any other questions?
No.
Derek, anything else?
No, that's all I have on this topic. Austin, you want to catch the lights again?
Okay, well, Ms. Cascaneta, we'll go to the calendar.
For the rest of the month, we have not too much going on tomorrow, the 16th, WIPA and ECO. And that's all we have for the month of October, unless we need to add anything. Going into November.
Bianca Eco was canceled this morning.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Yeah,
Next month, November 5th is election day. The 7th is the SEGO Admin Council meeting. November 8th, county managers. Saturday, November 9th is the 8th Cody Memorial 8th annual suicide awareness walk.
Can you say the last name?
I don't. Denogy.
Energy?
Denokian.
Denogy. Okay. That's why I didn't say it. I said goofy. I didn't want to butcher it. I don't have the time, the supervisor count, but I
Oh,
don't.
9 a.m.
Okay,
9 a.m.
thank you.
at the Mercy Football Fields.
November 11th, our offices are closed due to Veterans Day. November 13th, Wednesday, small counties, 14th, CSA. Our first board meeting in November will be on the 19th, and we'll canvass the election during that meeting. With ECO on the 20th. SEGO meeting, the executive board on the 22nd, that's Friday. And we do have a meeting on the calendar for our board meeting, but we're in question about our second one on the 26th. Have a question mark on that?
yeah, on the 20th.
Second, the Seagull board meeting. How come it's not on our calendar?
Because
We just got that on this morning.
we just, yeah, sorry.
Oh,
should've
I thought I
mentioned
was
that
on the
too.
wrong calendar.
No,
Okay.
no,
I
we
should've
were
mentioned
behind.
that. So this November 7th and 22nd, I wrote in right now.
Okay,
So I'll have those on the next calendar, but we did just get those meetings.
And Bianca, probably Eco, if I was a betting man, it'll probably be rescheduled for the 13th.
Oh,
Yeah, it'll probably, that way it's safe on a trip. Thank you.
And I think we'll play it by ear on the 26th, if that's
Right.
needed or not. We'll probably know by mid-month or something.
We will, yeah. Once we get the election behind us that week, things will slow down and we'll see how much work and business there is to do in November.
28th, 29th, our offices will be closed for Thanksgiving. That's all I have for November. December, again, this one, I just wrote this one down, December 5th. It's not on your guys' calendar, it's on mine. SEGO has their meeting on Thursday, county managers on the 6th, the Festival of Lights, December 7th, that's Saturday. Our board meeting is scheduled for December 10th. We don't have a second board meeting, but if necessary, we will. We have ACO the 10th through the 13th, small counties on the 11th, and CSA on the 12th. Oh, and WIFA on the 18th Wednesday.
Are they still gonna have small counties in the CSA if the
Well-
ECO conference is going?
Well, they generally, they used to have it in conjunction.
The last couple of years, they do hold it over at CSA and there's just kind of yo-yo back and forth to attend the ACO thing.
And Christmas, the 25th, our offices are closed. And that's what I have for December.
Anything to add to the calendar?
No.
Thank you so much.
I You can put down December 31st. Lunch. Last day.
With an old dusty boot tip.
He's gonna turn in his dusty boots. He's gonna turn in his dusty boots that day.
I'm sorry. Read.
Bronze those books.
Yes.
Anyway. Anything else? If not, we'll go to agenda item 7, consent agenda. And please note that under B, there is one correction. That should be Marcy Harris, not March Harris, so.
I cut it too, Bianca, but I didn't wanna, I was gonna go on call to the public and bring it up. But I decided not to.
Just typing too fast, and it wasn't my nails, so I was just typing it super fast.
Anyway, we appreciate it.
Well, I move that we approve the consent agenda with the correction in item 7B to Marcy Harris as presented.
I second that motion.
Have motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. We will now go to agenda item 8, supervisor reports. Mr. Gomez.
I don't have anything.
Okay, Mr. Campbell.
Just quickly, last week attended the CSA Legislative Summit down in Phoenix. I thought it was very well attended. I thought it was organized. We were able to review lots of legislative priorities. There wasn't a whole lot of fighting, which was great. It really came out here with just a handful of bills, and most of them were just CSA, studies and or letters. So anyway, it was a very good conference, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. I also attended the CSA Summit. One thing, we have a process that we go through to make sure it sets up our legislative agenda. It worked. There was things that we had no business doing, and those were weeded out. And so anyway, I too commend the process, and I commend CSA staff and for a job well done. That's all I have, and with that, if there be no further business to bring before this board, we are now adjourned.
33.